Hi everybody, I'm Bobby of Knitter's Niche. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my knitting corner. You know what? I have knit here for the past 30 days. I'm usually upstairs is where I record in my bonus room, but I kind of like it here. I like the whole corner. I like the lighting that I have, and I surrounded myself with some knitting, as you can see. We're going to talk about, of course, what I'm wearing today, what I'm working on. But the main thing we're going to talk about today is Rhinebeck. Have I been to Rhinebeck? No. Do I want to go to Rhinebeck? Absolutely. And what Rhinebeck is, it is the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival. It is held in Rhinebeck, New York. And the next one, well, the one for this year, 2025, is October, I'm going to read it here, October 18th through the 19th. So mark your calendar. And, let me know if you're going. Let me know of the vendors that you're looking forward to seeing there. Let me know. I know they have sheep there too that you can pet and you can watch and you can just stare at them and wish that you had one. So let me know down below. Let me know what sweater you're going to wear if you're going. And if you've gone in the past, let me know what sweaters that you have worn, because we want to do what I want to do. This is a Rhinebeck episode before Rhinebeck happens. And Andrea Mowry, this will be her 8th Rhinebeck sweater that she has designed. So for the past 7 years, she has had a knit along also. And I'll put a link to it down below in the description. There are some great prizes for this knit along. So I'm excited to see this on here. I have not knit a Rhinebeck sweater either. I was going to knit last year's Rhinebeck sweater that Andrea had designed, and I did not. I started it, and it just wasn't coming together with the yarn combination that I had chose. Now this one, I like it. And the name of it, oh my goodness, the name of it, y'all, is called Ooey Gooey. Okay, now this is going to take me off somewhere else. Ooey Gooey, you know what that makes me think of? All right, Southerners, can you imagine what that makes me think of? All you Southern gals, all you Southern knitters, guess what I'm going to talk about? Ooey Gooey. Okay, I moved here in 2017. My daughter had moved here in 2016 along with her husband and kids. So we followed them down here to the northeast corner of Alabama near Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, and I hadn't lived here too long, and she says, "Mom, have you tried gooey butter cake?" And I went, "No, what is gooey butter cake?" Well, she had bought some. I don't know if she bought it at a boutique grocery store or something. I'm thinking, where did you get this? Well, we have a great grocer here. It's a chain. It's called Food City, and you can buy all kinds of wonderful baked goods that are locally made. And I'm going to show you. This is gooey butter cake. Okay, this is it. This is lemon gooey butter cake. Isn't it? Wow, this is so, so good. You take a cake mix and you do that bottom layer, cake mix and eggs and butter. We'll do that bottom layer, and then you have cream cheese in the middle. Now, more than likely there is lemon rind in here, and I would suspect maybe a little bit of artificial lemon flavor. I'm not sure. But it just creates this beautiful, it's almost like a glazed donut on top. I don't know how they do that. But I've looked it up on YouTube. I'm going to try and make it. I've tried it one time. It did not turn out. Listen, I'm a northern girl trying a southern dessert. Okay, it's probably not going to turn out right the first time. So I'm sitting here with my gooey butter cake, and her pattern Ooey Gooey reminds me of the gooey butter cake. And I've got a glass of lemonade with me here, because there again, it's in the upper 90s here in the northeast corner of Alabama. Cheers to y'all. Okay, so first off, here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and talk about what I'm wearing. This is the Cabana tee. Sorry, that was my plate. The Cabana tee, and this is by Coco Amore Knitwear. And, well, look, see, I was starting to run out of ink there. So there it is. And this is what I'm wearing, y'all. And you know how I thought I might have to rip apart one of my old tees because it was the correct dye lot to finish this? I didn't have to. There it is. It's still here. It's still here. And when I said that, everyone was like, well, not everyone. A few people said, and they were talking amongst themselves in the comments, and they said, why in the world would she rip back a perfectly good tee to finish a test knit that she's already done what she needed to do? So I didn't do it. And in my heart, right when I said that on that episode, I knew I wasn't going to do that. I knew something would happen. Well, a great viewer, thank you so much, Lynn. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. It's Lynnne. Thank you so much. She found the yarn I needed, the specific dye lot I needed. And they had 3 of them, and she had them hold them for me. And she was frantically trying to get a hold of me through the comments. And I finally saw it, and I gave her my email address. So we corresponded that way. And there again, I got it. They had 3 left. I bought the 3. I had more than I needed to finish, but I wanted to buy the 3. So let's take a look at my Cabana tee by Coco Amore Knits. And her first name is Cheryl. I think it's Mokhtari. It's her last name. So there's the unique knitting stitches all through here. It is a raglan. The raglan increases here. I started off with a tubular cast on. I am using Knitting for Olive's soft blue is the color. Knitting for Olive Merino. It's a fingering weight yarn held together with Knitting for Olive's soft silk mohair in Marzipan. So it feels so nice. When you're knitting with mohair, you always hear people talk about it being itchy. Well, the first time I tried it on when it was completed, I did feel, but I soaked it in, I think it's Eucalan. I'll put a picture of the wool wash that I use, that I do my, soak my sweaters in, anything that I knit, I soak it in that, and it softens the yarn. It makes all the stitches come together nice and smooth. So wet blocking is important, as you can see, and it got longer after I wet block. I have linen shorts on. Can you tell they're linen? They're wrinkled. Okay, this is how long it is. I think it's a nice length. I knit the size 3. I seen, someone also in the last episode had a comment, and she said, I would love for you to do an episode on finding the correct fit in a sweater or tee or garment that you're knitting. Well, I don't really have any secret there. But what I really do pay attention is to the information in the pattern. When she tells you that they recommend, there's always going to be a range, for example, 2 to 4 inches of positive ease or of negative ease, or, I really pay attention to that. And 2, what I consider 2 is what I have knit. If I've knit a designer's pattern before, I will knit the same size. Now, I will find in petite knit, I had knit the anchor tee, and it came out in the 2, and because I'd heard that her patterns were a little bit bigger for a lot of people. Well, I had knit this in a 2, and it just fits. So there was a difference there. I do have much more. I have more, I would say maybe even up to 1 inch more of positive ease in my anchor tee that I had knit, and they were both fingering weight. So anyway, but generally, if you do as you're knitting, if you sit there, you've knitted so far, and you can make sure your stitch count matches what the pattern says too. You don't want to get too far. If you don't want to do a swatch, probably should do a swatch. I don't do swatches all the time. Like I said, if I've already knit that designer's pattern, I generally don't. But I don't really have any real secrets about that. If there's anything else that you would like for me to talk about on my episode, just let me know down below, and I'll see if I can do that for you. But I really don't have any secret other than what the pattern is telling me. I'm looking at it, and go by the gauge. Go by the gauge is the best way to get the best fit. And for you to get the correct gauge, ideally, is to do a swatch. And if you're doing a sweater, it needs to be swatched in the round, because actually you knit tighter when you're knitting in the round than when you're knitting flat. So this is what I've knit here. Didn't have to rip this one out. Oh, I'm so glad because I love it. I really do. So let's jump into Andrea Mowry's Rhinebeck sweater for October of 2025. All right. So the next fest, again, is October 18th through the 19th, 2025. So that'll be coming up. So this will give you ample time to get your sweater done. The most searched pattern in Ravelry is what the What's Hot Now title means, basically. So it is Andrea Mowry's Ooey Gooey. Again, I'm always going to think of the Ooey Gooey butter cake. I just am. I'm always going to think of a dessert. So let's take a look and see what she says about her sweater. All right, here we go. Our 2025 Rhinebeck sweater. The inspiration for this sweater began with a beautiful modern rug with undulating curves. I immediately began drawing up some colorwork charts and loved the organic, bold shape of this yoke. I do too. That is so nice. And I'm seeing here too, you might as you look on the front of this, I'm sure it goes all the way around. Yes, it does. When it comes to the circles, I'll call them circles. She might call that motif something different. You're probably going to have more than 5 stitches in between them. So you might have to pick up a float on that. So let's see what else she has to say. After knitting through the first chart, I was inspired to add some perfectly round polka dots. So she's calling them polka dots. And the jammy colors and drippy motif, what she means by jammy is jam, like jelly. The jammy colors and the drippy motif just had me thinking ooey gooey as I was knitting. The sweater is worked from the top down. I'm so happy to hear that because, Andrea, I love your patterns. I think they're beautiful and wonderful and so creative, but she does quite a few bottom up. So this one's a top down. Thank you. I'm ready for a little simplicity this time of year. Chest circumference for the size I'd like to knit, which would be the size 3, is 39 inches. So my bust is 34 inches. So that would give me a 5 inches of positive ease. So let's see. Well, look. Oh, a lot of times when I read these, I tend not to read all of it because I want to read it while I'm filming so I can have a little bit of a surprise like you do the first time you read it. So right here, it says the sample is shown in size 3 on a 34-inch, that's me, 34-inch chest with 5 inches of positive ease. So the size 3, it would be 89 centimeters, 89 centimeter chest with the 12.5 centimeter positive ease. Of course, these are just approximations, and depending on your yarn and your gauge, you might get something a little bit different as far as the amount of yarn that you need to use. So the main color she's using here, the main colored yarn, is she's using Spincycle's Daughter Fibers Spinster's Daughter. And she gives suggestions on the bottom. I'm going to put a picture here that you can take a look. It says on the very bottom of the pattern, and it will be in almost a turquoise color blue on the bottom. Yarn substitution ideas. You want to click there and you're directed to yarn substitution ideas. So they might not have all been tested, she does say. So we can't guarantee their outcome. However, if you don't want to buy Spincycle, or you don't want to use that yarn, if you want to use your stash, or if you're looking for something that might be a little more economical, and those yarns are beautiful, shoot, I would love to knit with them. I do have, hang on, y'all. This is sport weight yarn. Let's get down to that too. I do have Spincycle yarn dyed in the wool. Okay, here's my yarn here. Oh, Lord Almighty. It is Grumpy Birds, and I guess the game was called Angry Birds. Is that right? It just dawned on me. But this is Grumpy Birds. Now, they no longer make this color. Now, this is a sport weight yarn. This is it, because you can tell I started something, and then this is how big the skein is when you wind it. So you can see that it has a lot of green in there. And there's a little bit of gold in there. So I'm thinking my main color, I think I want to use, I was kind of wanting to do a really dark blue, or possibly a deeper, not burgundy, but a real kind of makeup color, like, because I think that looks so attractive when your yarn you choose to knit a garment does have like a warmer bit of a rosy color to it, but I don't want all my sweaters to do that. I do have a pink up here. You can see I've got my pink one up here. That's my clover tee, and that is done with Katya concept yarn, and also with Drops Mohair. Yeah, Drops Mohair. Okay, so this would be your contrasting color. So in here it says Spincycle dyed in the wool. This is Spincycle dyed in the wool. 50 grams is 200 yards. It says I need 2 skeins. You need 2 skeins of this, okay? Up until, for how many sizes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sizes. You need 2. And then the last 2 sizes, you need 3. So I have 2. So I could do it. It's really nice. And it has a high twist to it. You can just see all the different colors twisted around each other. See? So the yarn I want to knit with this should have that high twist also. So what she is using is the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Spinster's Daughter. I really want to talk about Rhinebeck too. Now, what do I know about Rhinebeck? I don't know a whole lot about Rhinebeck. I don't know if I said this earlier, because you know what? This is probably take 4 or 5, me just starting out. This happens to me all the time. But once I get going, it's like, I can't shut up. So have I ever been to Rhinebeck? No. Do I want to go to Rhinebeck? Absolutely. I really do someday. I don't know that I can this year, but I want to hear all about your Rhinebeck experiences out there. I want to hear the sweaters that you knit. There were Andrea Mowry sweaters, past Rhinebeck sweaters. I want to hear all about them. I want to, hear about me. They say meeting on the hill, and you can meet here on the hill, and you can get your picture taken with a big group of knitters that have knit the Andrea Mowry sweater. So I'm excited about that. Now, what I'll do here, I'm going to do a bundle. And if y'all want to see it, I'm going to put past Andrea Mowry, all of her past Rhinebeck sweaters in there. So you've got some kind of reference for the feel of Rhinebeck, I guess. I do. I think she's very talented. She's just artistic. You can see it. You can see it. You can hear it. She does have a podcast also. So I'll put the link down below. So this is an opportunity to get to know Andrea and her patterns if you've never ever seen any of your patterns, and you might not. Now, if you don't have Ravelry, she does have a website. Her website is Drea Renee Knits, and that's also what her name is on Ravelry. It's Drea. I'll put it right down here. So Ravelry username here, website here, or vice versa. So you can go to her website. So let's click on her website and see what we've got here, just so I don't tell you wrong. The first thing that comes up is Drea Renee Knits, and it shows the Ooey Gooey. Another nice thing about this, the Ooey Gooey sweater, is that it's done with sport weight yarn. So it's going to be a little bit faster than a fingering weight yarn. It is color work. And I mentioned last podcast, I think it was last, that I'm not a huge fan of knitting color work. I have knit color work, and I'll put examples here for you to see. The Soldotna, I did the Autumn Alpine, and I also knit, there was one more. What was it? I can't think of what it was. Anyway, I'll put it up here and tell you the name of it. So I'm not a big color work knitter. So, but this one I think looks really doable. It's cute. You could go so many different ways with this, depending on the colors that you choose. Again, I would use a high twist yarn to go along because you're going to get better definition with a high twist yarn too. Another nice thing about a high twist yarn, it's less likely to pill. It's a stronger yarn. But anything that you've got on hand, anything in your stash, you can easily put anything together here. You could do the contrasting color where I'm going to use the Grumpy Bird. I almost said Angry Bird. The Grumpy Bird colorway with its slow color change. You can use just a solid, which it looks like she's done. It looks like this one that she has on is done in solid. I do not see any color change there. Very nice. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot to do this. I was meaning to tell you about the test knit that I'm doing for Toke's Knits. And the yarn is right back here. Let me grab it real quick. If I can reach it. This is Knitting for Olives Pure Silk. And the color, this actually came from Denmark. It came from Knitting for Olive. They donated the yarn for her test knit. This is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. The color is called Rhubarb Juice. Isn't that pretty? So I'll be holding two of these together. You know, I was surprised. I have some silk yarn, and it's from Pearl Soho, and it has a rougher feel, but this is really, really soft. I mean, I can feel a little texture to it, but not much at all. So I have 6 skeins of this here. It is going to be a sleeveless top. So I'll be casting that on. I got the pattern from her. She emailed it to me yesterday. Then I'm going to start using this Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, the Rhubarb Juice. I think it's pretty. I think it's a good color to add to my collection of colors, because let me grab this stack of teas. They're all teas up here. Let me grab them. And this basically has been my color palette for 2025. And along with my Cabana tea, which is going to bring a little bit more blue into it. But by using the Mohair, it's turned it into like a dust. I don't know if dusty's the right word. I want to say this reminds me almost of washed out summer sea colors, beach colors, maybe, but they're washed out. But so this is my color palette for 2025. I have, you know, it goes from the neutral beige tone to like a silver. Which one is that? Oh, this is my Clover tea. That actually is called a light beige. It's almost a kind of a grayish, as they say, a beigey grayish. And then this is also a clover right here. And that is done with a pink, and this has mohair held along with it. And then this one here is my vest. And that is by JST Knitwear Designs. And then this, I think, hang on here, let's see what this one is. Oh, this is my Anchor Summer Shirt. And that is done with Kit, is the color name, Kitt. This is my Ranunculus tee. And then this is also, this is Santa Scarlina, and this color, I forget what the color name is. I forget. But there is a difference between this one and this one. These have been my colors for this year. And I'll hold them back up here. I wanted to bring a little bit different color in. So that's why I chose the Rhubarb Juice, which is the silk. This is going to have a great drape to it too. So I'm adding this color into the mix here. And this is a makeup color. And what I mean by makeup, I actually mean makeup, M-A-K-E-U-P. The makeup, you know, for a blush or a lipstick. Bella Grace, hang on, baby. This is really soft. This, I have a feeling I'm going to absolutely love this. Absolutely. So this is my color palette. This is my color palette. And you can see it all kind of goes together, and where we go from here. So these are all tees. These are all short sleeves, except for the vest. It's sleeveless. The vest is sleeveless, of course. And you know what I'm thinking too? Last podcast, I talked about the storm sweater, and I wanted to do that, or I want to do the porcelain damask, and that is by Lynette, and the storm sweater was by Petite Knit. Okay, I'm kind of hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that Petite Knit, I hope she does, we'll wait and see if she will do a vest in the storm vest, because she's done the Esther. Is it Esther? I think it's Esther. The vest and then the sweater. I think that's what it is. Anyway, so I'm hoping that she'll do that, because I kind of want to do a vest. And the reason I want to do a vest is because it's quicker. Is that bad of me to say? It's quicker, and I want to knit everything that I see. So if I do the vest, okay, here's a hint for any of you designers out there. Okay, does everybody think like me though? I think everybody thinks like me, and they don't. Thank goodness they don't, because believe me, it'd be a boring world if everybody thought like me. I think that if they would design more vests, it gives us the opportunity to knit more in the fall and winter. And where I'm from too is a factor. I'm from Alabama, as I've said a few times in this episode already. And it gets hot here. It gets cold in the winter, because like I said, we're the northeast corner, so we're in the northern part. I'm usually in Florida in the winter, so I'm in short sleeves almost all year. So I love to knit tees, and I hope you love to knit tees. But let's take a look at Andrea Mowry's gooey, I almost said gooey butter cake, which is right down here. My gooey butter cake. Gooey butter cake, here it is. I haven't ate a piece yet. Any Rhinebeck information, please put down below. Let's just make this a happy episode about Rhinebeck, and just dreaming I could go there. I'm dreaming I could go. Dreaming I could go. So, I would have to take a plane, because I can't drive all the way up there. I used to have more confidence in my driving, but the older I get, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know that I could do that. So I would have to take a plane, and I would want somebody to go with me, and I don't have anybody to go with me. So I'm going to live through you. Tell me about your Rhinebeck experience. Tell me what you expect if you've never been before. And remember, if you do knit this sweater, there's so many fun things and people you're going to meet when you go to the Sheep and Wool Festival. It'll be packed. It always is. Oh, and they also have other festivals other than that. What's the one called? Is it called Cake Palooza? Is that correct? And I'm thinking it's that same weekend or around that same weekend, maybe a day or two before or after. But there are other festivals going on too. And we're getting ready for Rhinebeck, October of 2025. So if you're going to knit a Rhinebeck sweater, if you're going to knit the Ooey Gooey from Andrea Mowry, please put in the comments below and let me know what yarn you're using. Let me know if you're doing the knit along. Let me know if you've ever done the knit along before, and because I've never done a knit along before, because I have never knit one of her Rhinebeck sweaters, but this one's looking really appealing to me. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you so much. And don't forget, this is still my Podiversary month, and I am so grateful for everyone that watches and comments and likes my little YouTube channel. It's me. It's just little old me. This is it, y'all. It's me. I knit, I record, I edit. I'm just doing it all myself. And wouldn't it be nice if I had a knit shop that I could sit and have all behind me, my backdrop? I don't have that. That'd be great. I would love that. And I am envious of the podcasters that do that, that do have that opportunity to record in a knit shop. That would be wonderful. Okay, thank you all so much. Have a great day. And remember, go out there and knit the day. Bye for now. Thank you.